All right.
Okay, so Nana Kwaku, thank you so much for agreeing to talk to us for the second time. So this is a part 2 of the first episode. I want to ask you how the whole experience has been for you. Can you hear me? And so how has the whole
network?
I can hear you.
You can hear me. So can you tell us briefly how the whole experience has been for you?
It's a long journey. Right. Way back 2015.
Right.
Doctor, I started seeing this little node in my left breast.
Right.
Which, you know, as a typical African man and a Ghanaian as such, I didn't take it serious. I thought it was maybe ordinary pimples.
Right.
So I discussed it with my wife. She advised me to see a doctor. And I went to a polyclinic. I was diagnosed of an infection. So I was given some antibiotics. That's all. After the antibiotics, I think the pain went off. So I thought it was over.
Right. Right. And then it resurfaced again. And then it came back again, right?
Yeah. Late 2016, 2017.
Right.
Yeah, late 2016, 2017, it came back again.
Okay.
This time, it was becoming bigger and bigger.
Okay.
Somehow. Okay. And I started seeing some discharge.
Right.
Some yellow discharge from the nipple.
Right. Right. You told us in the first episode, but I wanted to understand for you how this whole experience has been for you. Is it that your mind is tuned towards demonization? Do you think that you've been demonized or you've sinned, or how has it been for you? From I want to understand it from an African perspective.
That's a very good question. It's a very good question, Doctor. You know, as a typical African Ashanti man, I was just asking myself, why me? Me being a man, how can I go through, even if any ailment, any disease, not with my breast?
Exactly.
Because personally, I don't smoke. Personally, I don't take alcohol.
Yes, so which are the risk factors? These are some of the risk factors.
Risk factors.
Even for men and women.
Why me? So I might be frank with you. A friend led me to some prophets, and you know our prophets, they said a whole lot of things.
Right.
They said a whole lot of things.
Yeah, but was it directed towards demonization?
Exactly. One even directed me that I shouldn't go to hospital at all. If they touch it with any orthodox medication, I would die. Within 3 months, I would die.
But Nana, let me find out from you. Do you think that you have been demonized personally? Not from the revelations, spiritual revelations that you have received, but from a very private perspective. Do you think you have been demonized?
At all. It as a condition or an ailment.
Your network is breaking.
Me.
Right. So you are saying that you
so
don't.
Did you hear me?
No, your voice, your network was bad. So your voice. Can you repeat that?
Okay.
Can you repeat that?
What I was trying to say is, I don't think there is anything like demonization against me or anything of that sort. Nothing at all.
Okay.
All that I know is I am sick, and
okay.
I
And
need
it's a human
to be healed.
condition. And then it's a human condition as well. It could affect anybody.
Anybody. Yes.
Yeah. Do you also think that you have sinned? I'm asking these questions because these are some of the questions that come up, you know, when we talk or we open conversations around breast cancer, essentially. You know, the thoughts that...
In fact, I must say, initially, all this kind of thoughts came to my mind.
Right.
I was thinking of, why? Have I done anything against somebody and the person has cursed me or what?
Right.
I just kept on asking myself. But in fact, when I began understanding things, I started going to hospital. I began understanding things. I withdraw all this kind of thoughts.
Right.
I know I am sick. That's all.
Right. Right. Okay. So I also want to find out from you how you've coped. What are some of the support systems around you that have, you know, supported you through this journey?
You know, Doctor, when this thing became serious, that was the time when my wife left me. Now I'm a divorcee. From 2 years, 2018, November 2018, my wife left me.
Did she give any reasons? Did she give any reasons?
In fact, nobody up to date, she can't even explain what happened to her before she left me, because I was in dire need of her. I needed somebody to support me in what I was going through, but she packed and left.
But you know, scientifically, there's a basis to explain that for, especially for most or for some significant number of, you know, cancer patients, they would have a spouse or a close relative walk out for numerous reasons. And I'm thinking that especially in our part of the world where there's a lot of demonization and ill spirituality to, you know, the conversations around cancer and then breast cancer especially. It comes as no surprise. And I mean, this is also the evidence that more African researchers should move into, you know, support systems for male breast cancer, essentially. You find that there's a lot more for female in terms of, you know, support systems than for male. So it's interesting you talk about, I mean, the immediate support system, which is your wife, and she living and all that. So what are the other support systems that you've you know, explored around you?
You know, it's even difficult, very difficult, to explain to a friend about a breast cancer as a man, what you are going through, breast cancer, or you know, how we spread issues. So it's been very, very, very difficult for me. I have two little sisters. The first one, you know, told my uncle, who is not even ready to help me, that what she has seen the first time she saw the she told my uncle, she thinks the sickness is not coming. There's no way I can survive.
So your uncle is available to support as well.
And it was difficult
Nana, your network is a bit slow, and so your conversation is breaking.
He has never. He has never supported.
So now he's supporting your sisters, and then you have a child. You have a child as well, an older child. You have a child as well.
Yes.
You have a child, an older child who also supports. Okay. I know that there are a lot of restrictions on men, especially in our part of the world. You know, men are not expected to show visible grieving. You know, you are expected to be a man, and by so doing, society expects that you hide Doctor, your emotions. Can you hear me?
I didn't.
Yeah, I'm saying that. Yes, I'll repeat it. I'm saying that in
I didn't get the question.
Okay, I'll repeat it. I'm saying that I'm asking about the coping and support systems, and I want to understand it in terms of grief. You know, grief and loss, because this whole process is also about, I mean, grieving for your body, you know, in whatever dimension you want to look at it. And then loss as well, especially for the women or men who lose a part of their body, you know, that's the breast and all that. So I'm asking about coping because I want to get a better picture of how your support systems have helped, you know, you to recover quickly, you know, or go through the journey, you know, and especially in our part of the world where, you know, a man is expected to hold in emotions. I mean, a man is not to be classified as a man. One of the tenets of manliness is to be able to hold affect, not show negative emotions. You know, you are not expected to cry or break down. So how have you handled all this, the light of grieving and all that, and coping?
Yes, I get you. You know, there's one thing about me. I am somebody who is very strong in enduring pain. I am very, very strong in emotions too. Sometimes I find it very difficult to cry. I have a lady friend who has been encouraging me in every way. Who has been encouraging me in every way. Apart from her, and I have a member in my church who I used to call an uncle. As for that man, I don't hide anything from him. He also knows what I'm going through. But for my sisters, hey, I will have been a funeral by now. I will have been a dead man by now.
Right.
But I took everything easy.
Okay. Are there times you feel like breaking down, but the tears don't come, or you have conditioned yourself not to put yourself through that crying process? Because as you know, especially in psychology, we talk about catharsis, you know, finding an outlet to release the pain, the anxiety and all that. So is it that you have conditioned yourself, or within the larger space of social conditioning, not to express emotion? Nana, are you there? Hello, Nana. Hello, Nana.
Doctor. Now I can hear you.
Yes. So I was saying that
I didn't get the question.
Yes. So I'll repeat it. you talked about the fact that you're a very tough person. And I wanted to find out from you, because this whole journey of BC is one that also requires an avenue for expression, you know, and I know for the women, you know, they find varied ways of getting, you know, involved in some form of support, you know, systems. And you mentioned that you're a tough person, you don't cry, you know. So I'm asking that, is it that you have self-conditioned yourself not to get to that brink of unleashing that kind of emotion, or it's just trying to conform to the social, you know, conditioning of being a man? And yeah. And can you hear me? Right. So our second episode basically focused on looking at coping systems and how, you know, male breast cancer is perceived in this part of our world. Nana, are you back?
Our world.
Yes. So what I'm saying is that, is it that you have self-conditioned yourself not to cry?
Yes.
How do you, yes. Did you say yes?
Yes.
So how do you express the pent-up emotions that come with this whole journey? How are you, you know, unleashing the emotions that especially the negative emotions, the burden of these emotions that are associated with this journey?
Doctor, you know, I am somebody who likes reading a lot.
Right.
There is this book written by one Dr. Quentin Pipim. He's in America, a Ghanaian. And the title of the book is Healed Wounds, but Ugly Scars. Healed Wounds, but Ugly Scars. Whenever I start thinking about what I'm going through, I'll just take that book and read. In fact, it has helped me a lot. This book has been my everything, my source of joy sometimes.
Right.
Because there's no man. I'm alone. I am alone. Even as I show you the pictures I showed you,
right.
Even to wound to cover it, everything I did. Nobody, there's my little sisters. They said it smells, so they weren't even happy to come closer to me.
Right.
You know, so
right.
it has been a very tough journey for me.
Yeah. But yeah, so you also know that, I mean, in the first instance, you have yourself first, you know, and I'm happy that you talk about, you know, very productive ways you try to, you know, cope as well. I think one of the significant issues around the space is self-pity. Do you have pity parties sometimes?
Yes.
You do?
Doctor, I like your statement. Pity party. I don't know how to explain it. What do you mean by pity party?
No, so self-pity, you know, it's just an extent of trying to mourn for yourself, kind of. It comes in very varied dimensions. Trying to feel sorry for yourself. And then, like you rightly said, initially you were asking yourself all those questions. It can be at the thought level, you know, pity parties, self-pity parties can be at the thought level. I think that most often for cancer patients especially, you know, there's not that realization that you are getting there, or it's an adorned ceremony for you, because for most people it's even at the thought level before it comes to emotions and then behavioral. So I wanted to find out from you if there are times you sit down to kind of grieve for yourself, and if not, how have you been able to put checks in order not to get there?
Okay. You know, sometimes I have been dreaming. I don't know what I said before. Sometimes in a trance, I could see my body being buried on several occasions. So
you can see your body words. Nana, you can see your body words. You can see your body words.
I can see myself being buried.
You can see your body words. Come again.
I can see my I say sometimes I have been dreaming, I don't know what I say, a dream or in a trance, seeing myself being buried, like a funeral for me.
Right.
Serious one.
Being buried, right.
I experienced it more than 10 times.
Yeah.
So sometimes I ask myself, when I look for when I am dead, which of my teachers would I use for my
Nana, your voice is breaking.
Oh,
your voice is breaking.
My voice is breaking.
Yeah. What do you do when you have such dreams?
Is it okay now?
Yes, it's okay now. So what do you do when you have the death dreams? What do you do?
When I got some dreams, what I think about it, after all, if born nothing. Some people, so many people that and sometimes I go to Hollywood.
Your voice is breaking.
Young people suffering.
Your voice is breaking. Your voice is breaking. We can hardly hear a word. Your voice is breaking.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
My voice is breaking. Your voice is breaking. Let's take a breather and then we can have another session.